Let's discuss the different API classification related to the NVM module. So whenever we have different modules and when we have to interact with them, we have to use APIs. And in the case of NVM, we have different APIs that are available which provides us different functionalities. So depending on how they act or how they work, we classify them into mainly three types. So the first one is something called as synchronous or asynchronous. The second classification is based on the type, and the final one is based on the configuration class. So let's discuss each of them. Synchronous or asynchronous request. So in a synchronous request, the requests are processed immediately. So if we just give the request, we get the processing happening instantaneously. And that's why we call it synchronous. It's synchronized. So now, in case of asynchronous request, the requests are queued and processed in background. Okay, so they are not handled immediately, but there is some gap in time. Usually, these requests take more time to execute. So now you understand why they are getting queued or why they are processed late, because they produce an extra memory overhead and it's better to handle them later. So that's why we have something called as asynchronous requests. So now let's look at the classification based on type. So in basis of type, we can see different classifications such as type 1, type 2, type 3, etc. So let's see first what is type 1. In type 1, the synchronous request which affect a single RAM block are present. So type 1 consists of all APIs which are synchronous in nature and which affect a single RAM block. In case of type 2, it's asynchronous request, and here which affect a single NVRAM block. Okay, the NVRAM block along with the asynchronous request come under the category of type 2. In type 3, it's asynchronous request which affects NVRAM blocks with permanent data. Okay, so another requirement here is that we need permanent RAM data and the request should be of type asynchronous. And the last one is type 4, which consists of synchronous request for initialization. So any synchronous request that is used for initialization comes under type 4. The next classification is based on class. So the APIs are mainly divided into three configuration classes, and depending on how much API support or how much APIs are available, this classification is made. So the first configuration class is API configuration class 1, where there is a minimum set of API support. The second one is class 2, where an intermediate set of APIs are supported. And finally, we have API configuration class 3, where all APIs are supported. So that is basically what it is about, all the different configuration classes. We'll be discussing on detail on the different classes and also the different APIs that are present in them in the upcoming sessions.